You know, so I mean, for many people, this is the chance to do what they always wanted to do, and it gives the recognition that so many people never got, because the reality is that for every kid that we get and produce into GCSEs and A-level and going to university, we lose far more than we need to lose because of the system we operate. For an awful lot of people, quite often not just because of being tied to work, but quite often because they've never had enough self-esteem to actually take something on, and have often been very worried about going to traditional courses because of their educational background, or quite often actually because of their educational experiences. They don't feel ready to sort of the cut and thrust of the students. And I suspect that one of the huge attractions for students who are looking for a second chance is the anonymity of the computer and the individuality of the tutor, so that in actual fact they do their work, and whilst there's a person at the end of the line, that's their tutor. The fact that you might have 10 others is neither here nor there. To that person, you're their tutor, and they understand that you understand, that the individual tutor understands this person is on a second chance program, if you like, or beginning again. And I think it is this opportunity to gradually develop without having a peer group that they have to continually compare themselves against. And from my conversations with the people here, are amongst the great strengths of the course. It removes the element of fear and of shame, and then quite often provides superb surprises when people get an evaluation back saying, you're doing damn well. And maybe for many of these people, this is the first time in their life, not because they were stupid, but because, let's face it, I mean, the system is better than it was now, but if you go back 15, 20 years, it was appalling. And I think what an online degree like this, certainly what I've seen around here, certainly I've seen it. I've seen people get, how I almost, as my mother used to call it, more prideful. I've seen people get more of a tip about themselves about it, thinking, I'm on my way. I've seen them boast about it, right? I must be the only school, I'd say, in the country where I can say all of my learning assistants are doing degrees. And they support each other and they back each other. So, and as you said, and I think one of the geniuses of this particular degree, from what I'm seeing, is the degree is related to what they're doing during the day. That action research bit, I think, is brilliant, because it makes sense of their daily grind, and they put more into it. For instance, I know that one of my people here, he's in the art department, right? I've seen him blossom in the work he's doing as a result of this degree, picking up advice from the tutor. He's reading the thing across it. I've seen that happen. I see my chap out there who's in one of my clerical staff, who has now, since he started getting the degree and sees potential, has changed his whole view of where he expects to be in 10 years' time. And I see that right across the spectrum with people here doing it. So I think I would now be making a condition of anybody employed as an assistant on a permanent basis that they were prepared to take further qualifications, and I would be steering them this way if I could. It is far superior, as far as I'm concerned, rather than giving somebody an NVQ3. I mean, why shouldn't I provide an assistant with the tool that maybe say, well, I don't have to remain an assistant. Even as a supreme assistant, I can go on to something else. Why shouldn't I provide the tool so they've got options? And it's cheap, as the degree is, I suppose, could we call it action research, that it's based in that way, that the things the students are doing, from what I've seen here, are so germane to the things they're doing in the workplace, that in actual fact they would get the same mentoring anyway. I've got another young man who's an instructor in science who finishes this year, I think, actually. Now I know that as a result of this, I have somebody who is going to be an excellent teacher, because when he's finished this year, immediately I will put him onto the graduate teacher training program, and so this lad's whole aspirations and potential future has been dramatically changed by being on this thing. I mean, he's my first one that actually is qualified. He does it this year, and so I think that it doesn't, because of the way the degree is structured, it actually involves the workplace by default. And it doesn't make any extra, if you like, claims on the place, but by default it involves the workplace. And I think that is better in some ways than having a mentor in between, because you'd have to be asking yourself, what was the function of the mentor? Is the function of the mentor to replace the tutor for that period of time? I think the tutor working with the student, who then works within his or her department, makes eminent sense to me. I think you introduce another person, it's another variable for the student to deal with. And I mean, research or time may show you there's better ways of doing things, but at the moment it certainly seems to be working. So the wheel's not broken, I wouldn't fix it yet.